Buy Micro Four Thirds because it keeps things nice and small, they say. Well, this is the brand new lens from Panasonic. It's the LEICA DG VARIO-SUMMILUX 25-50 f1.7. This brand new, very fast zoom lens from Panasonic will sit alongside their already released 10-25 f1.7, and we're going to see the same great image quality, which hopefully I'm going to be able to show you in this video. Now, Panasonic are touting this as the world's first full range f1.7 50-100mm. Which it isn't, but they can kind of get away with it because this is going on their Micro Four Thirds bodies. With Micro Four Thirds, you get a 2x crop factor against like a 35mm view. So it is technically, I guess, kind of a 50-100mm. However, I'm just really excited that it's f1.7 all the way through and it matches up with that 10-25 that's already available. I think if you're shooting with something like the GH5, like I've got here, and Sean is shooting on today in his camera, I think having that range of a 10-25 f1.7 and then a 25-50 f1.7 just gives you a really nice basis for pretty much most shoots. So I'm going to shoot with this today and see how I get on. Good job it's weather resistant, isn't it? Because it's June, so it's actually July. It's even worse. Optically, this is designed to be a brilliant lens. It's designed to get the best possible quality heading into your Micro Four Thirds cameras. And I think for stills photographers, this is going to be lovely. It's going to be a really nice lens to use, especially as, let's be honest, Micro Four Thirds not quite as good in the low light situation. So having that f1.7 just opens things up a little bit, means you don't have to worry too much about being in low light. However, I do think this is going to be really popular with videographers, and this is why. Now, obviously, f1.7, very, very quick aperture, and that 25-50 focal length makes this great for video already. But if you take that aside, there's a few other features, design features, that make this great too. Now, the first thing is that Panasonic have really tried to repress and control the focus breathing effects that you see when you're moving through the focal range with this lens. So I've done a couple of tests for you here so you can see exactly what it looks like. Also, as a side note, this lens can focus down to 0.28 meters, so 28 centimeters at the wide end at 25mm, and it can focus down to 0.35 meters, 35 centimeters at the 50mm end. So you can actually get nice and close, especially bearing in mind this does have that 2x crop factor to keep in mind when you're shooting. One of the other reasons I think this lens is maybe pushed slightly more towards video from Panasonic is the aperture ring. Now, quite often aperture rings now we see click on and off, so you can have it nice and smooth like this one, or you can turn that click on, and that quite often is a little bit more wanted from photographers. However, this doesn't have that. You can't do that. It's just smooth all the way through. And that's great, doesn't make any noise and everything, but you still get those steps of aperture when you change if you were to doing it during a shot. Now, I'm not stupid, I know pretty much no videographers out there are using aperture to change exposure during a shot. You will get those steps unless you're using a T-stop lens, of course. However, this does have something called micro drive aperture control, which allows the camera to smooth off those steps, those changes in exposure as you move through the aperture range, so that technically you could use the aperture to change exposure during a shot and it shouldn't be quite so noticeable. To go between autofocus and manual focus, it's one of these click back and forths, which I've always liked. I think sometimes they can be, there's not enough click to them, which means you do it accidentally, which can be annoying, but with this one, it's you have to do it. It's not too heavy. It is obviously quite big from micro four thirds lens, but it is f1.7 throughout, and it doesn't weigh too much based on what you're getting optically with this lens. I've got it on the GH5 here and it feels nice and balanced. I think if maybe you had it on one of the really small micro four thirds cameras, you may feel it slightly front heavy, but with a camera like this, which is, let's be honest, the type of shooter who's going to be using this lens, I don't think you're going to have any problem at all. Also, the lens hood, if I can reach it, is pretty sizable, and I like that. It might annoy some people, but I've always thought I'd rather smash my lens hood, you know, when this is on my side going against a wall or something like that, or I'd rather it be able to keep the rain off my front element. So I think in terms of lens hood, it's pretty good too, and it does lock in place. Now, this is dust and splash resistant, as you'd expect. It's got loads of sealing throughout, and it can work down to -10 degrees Celsius, which is basically the temperature of an average British summer night. And it's a good job it's splash resistant too, because there is a real big cloud coming our way. Being in Panasonic's Leica range of lenses, this has a lot to live up to optically, and it's done really well. The optical quality is exactly what we'd like to see from this type of lens. It's really, really lovely, and hopefully throughout the video you've liked it too. Now, if you want to find out more about the new 25 to 50mm f1.7, you can pop onto the website. There is a ton of information in there. Or of course, you can put a comment here and we'll try our best to get back to you with everything we currently know about the lens. Now, at the time of filming this, we had quite limited information, so there will probably be some things missing and you might want to ask questions, but by the time you see this video, hopefully we'll know everything about it. So make sure to get in touch if you do need any info. We're doing loads of videos like this all the time, and we've got some challenge videos coming your way, loads of technique stuff, and we do some great masterclasses as well. So make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and press that little bell to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything that's coming up. But for now, a massive thank you for watching. I'm going to run inside. As you can see, it's just started raining, and this might be weatherproof, but I am not.